welcome back to Let's Play Ace Combat X.
The Gleipnir was last confirmed heading southeast across the Puna plains. However, we lost all trace of it shortly after. Unfortunately, Aurelia's information network can provide no further details at this time. We'll just have to take what we can get.
Alright, let's check out the hangar and see what we got in store for us before we continue on with things. And, yeah, let's fill out the special weapons for the Phantom, because we're gonna kinda need them. And, oh great. Wow, thanks Ace Combat X. So, yeah, alright, fine, let's also get out the intruder, even though we're never going to actually use it.
You need to buy the plane?
Yep.
I think I missed that.
And yeah, and basically that was what you didn't see was me going back and rerunning the first mission a whole bunch of times just to get the credits needed to buy the damn thing and all the weapons.
The airborne fortress Gleipnir nearly wiped out our entire attack force. Even with you, sir, our remaining aerial attack strength is severely limited. We no longer have the necessary manpower or supplies to pursue Gleipnir. In addition, there are reports of enemy forces gathering at Port Patterson. If we don't move soon, it will only be a matter of time before they attack from behind. Given the situation, we are left with only one plan of attack. On the Puna plains lying between Aubrey Base and Port Patterson, Laysath forces have hastily constructed a resupply base to house the large quantity of supplies needed to support their troops. Attack Puna Base. Destroy all parked bombers and base facilities. Take away the enemy's ability to fight. If you succeed, we'll gain an important foothold for an attack on Port Patterson. And what's more, we'll gain the supplies we need to win this fight. Unless we succeed in taking this base, that's it for our supplies. Please don't fail, sir.
So, I like how the game justifies it in this instance that, okay, yes, this was a base that Laysath just threw together, like, basically on a big stretch of flat land, so it's not like you have the Ace Combat 04 problem of you're just bombing the shit out of your own facilities.
What, you're not taking your anti-ground plane that you just unlocked?
The Phantom's much better at it. Also, plus the Phantom has that nice little smiley face on its tail end, so...
It's a happy plane.
Yeah, it's so happy to be committing war crimes. Also, you get to hear the first inklings of just how absolutely rocking this game's soundtrack is in Out of the Fire here.
What's going on? Just send up every available pilot.
Like, Dr. Snark and I were talking about it, and, like, this game has a very, kind of un-Ace Combat soundtrack, and yet it works.
It's definitely different.
Also, yeah, I just took those two F5s out on the ground with unguided bombs.
I mean, if they're not moving fast enough, why shouldn't you?
And that's also actually the objective to get the named Ace to spawn. Like, you can see him coming up right down there from the south. But it's basically, if you bounce those two F5s on the ground before they take off, then the intruder, Ari, will spawn in, and taking him out earns you a special paint color for it.
You know, this game feels slow so far.
And that's just kind of a kind of a byproduct of playing with the Phantom, because the Phantom is a very slow and sluggish plane. Like, if I came back and played this like with like the F-22 or hell even the Fenrir, then like it's almost kind of night and day in comparison.
Command, what's the situation, Puna base? We're taking enemy fire. Request reinforcements immediately. Request reinforcements immediately.
Like, the game is actually pretty well built for being like an Ace Combat game on the PSP. It's just unfortunately it doesn't really put its best foot forward in terms of like you know, gameplay flow.
Another fire! We've been here too!
It works so far, I think. Look, there's more enemy planes incoming than your armed forces have in total left.
Yep. So, yeah, these are the planes that you kind of heard over the radio coming in from Port Patterson. Like they said, oh, give us a couple minutes, we need to get ready, and yet they just kind of spawn in like almost instantaneously.
It was nearly a couple minutes. You know, I nearly want to yell, why are you not using high G turns? But
they didn't exist at this point in the franchise. And for the record, I am kind of trying to emulate that, where like you go super fast into the turn on the afterburner and then slam on the brakes. And that kind of comes close to approximating a high G turn, but not quite really. There's kind of a tiny bit of stuff that's been like pulled out of like the console games physics engines to accommodate the PSP. Like that whole like single thumbstick thing, like you can't turn the camera around and like look at the plane in like first or third person mode unless apparently you set it to autopilot. And then the basically the rudder, like the pitch and the roll, becomes the camera control while it's in autopilot mode. So, just quick shout out to Eyecatcher for pointing that out in the comments for the first video.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. Between which other games was this made?
This was between 0 and 6.
And it plays just after 7?
Yeah, this comes a year after 7 in the in-universe timeline.
They should have called Trigger to come over.
Trigger didn't technically exist at this point. Also, like, Osea gets kind of fucked up in 7-something Fierce. So, maybe they're not in the best shape to be, like, you know, playing Adventure Cowboy down in the Southern Hemisphere again. But yeah, like, the big conceit about basically X taking place in 2020 is, oh, look at all these cool future planes we've got that are, like, in any other game would be super planes, but here they're just kind of generic, like, early and even mid-game unlocks like the Apolis.
Sam destroyed.
It's like, I unlock it, like, basically after, like, I clear, like, the prologue and, like, get into the actual part 1, but it's like, you take a look at this thing and, like, it would be a super plane in just about any other Ace Combat game, and yet it's kind of a piece of crap in this one. It's also your default plane in the iOS, like, port/prequel to this one, Ace Combat XI, Skies of Incursion.
Nothing more we can do here. Escape. Escape?
Yeah, sometimes you wonder what people were thinking.
Because, like, I don't know, that's kind of been interesting, like, keeping up with, like, Ash Saber's trip report of it in the, like, the thread itself, because, like, the big gimmick of XI is that it's just a gigantic cash grab, so, like, all the crazy, like, proprietary planes that, like, Project Ace has made up themselves, they're free to play, but if you want to actually use any real-world planes, you had to pay for them. Like, God, like, I'm really not surprised that XI was pulled off the App Store.
When did you
Also,
use your UGBs for those choppers?
Really?
Yes?
Yeah, no, there's no trick shots here. This is basically the closest you're going to get to a trick shot is just watching this headquarters explode while the entirety of the Phantom takes up the screen so you can't even see it.
The soldiers are abandoning the base. The mission was a success.
Retreating LASAF forces have abandoned Puna base. The base, including all provisions stored there, now belong to us. Now we'll be able to provide backup support for our troops.
What troops?
Oh god, oh, yeah.